las pantallas. Lo único, no. Perdón, no está cargada. Muy bien. Buenos días.
Good morning to one and all. We've listened to it in the morning. Our president said that we're living a technological revolution, unprecedented one. COVID is going to boost transformations that would have taken decades to happen otherwise, with a digital citizen who is using technology intensively and in their professional lives and in their personal lives. And also a big company analyzing for long how technology has an impact, as an opportunity or a risk in the business model. Nevertheless, in this balance, our SMEs are being delayed, are staggered in the adoption of these technologies because there are some barriers that are not linked to technology. The size of SMEs is a great advantage in this case, and in 1 year they can go digital. In 1 year they can go digital, and big companies can take them 1 decade to go fully digital. But we need to be aware of these, and we need to launch a holistic plan that takes into account all the variables and that allows us to move forward towards a global digitalization of our SMEs. Spain is a country with a lot of SMEs. 99% of companies are SMEs, and companies of less than 50 workers give 50% of the jobs. And if we compare this with the European average, Spain is 5 points above. If we take into account the proportion and the size of SMEs, if we compare them to countries as United Kingdom of Germany. Spain is a country leader in connectivity, in digital public services, but the DESI study, the ESI study about technology adoption, Spain is behind in the 13th position in the use of cloud, in the use of the data economy, internet presence, and e-commerce. So all this means that there is a loss in competitiveness. We cannot allow this to happen, and all the institutions reach a consensus in which digital global plan would lead to a better productivity, more competitiveness at international level, and it would be one of the most important safeguards in order to protect jobs in such a crisis. And apart from all this, there is a number of technologies that are going to be here in the future. These technologies don't require an adaptation capacity of all companies, of all sizes, technologies that are going to increase in a dramatic way the opportunity cost of not adapting to these and assuming that digitalization are embedded in your business. These technologies increase these opportunity cost of digitalization for our SMEs. And which are the barriers we are talking about? Well, there are some companies, startups, digital native companies that include technology in their business processes since they are born. There are companies that have a long trajectory. They've been able to adopt and to understand technology so that this is a competitive advantage to them. But most of the companies have had a longer trajectory, but they are not able to include in their processes the digital world. And this is the technology works in all sophisticated environments, and sometimes there is a lack of vision. The people who had their purposes when they launched this company or this business, they need models, and we are used to the big consultant companies, the niche consultants. They talk how we are, they talk to us about how we are, how our competitors, how the market is. So this capillarity does not reach the SMEs. And there is also a deep sociological mindset, this reluctancy to change of these people who consider they have created like a child and they need to transform the child. So there is an internal reluctancy linked to this lack of training in order to lead this transformation. And sometimes there is a technical lack of knowledge. How am I supposed to redesign my project so that my company can compete in the digital world? And also, if I give it some food for thought, a lack of proximity of these big corporations with selling to other big companies. We've worked thinking about the massive consumption, and we ignored the SMEs when they needed us. And what can we do then? Well, when I think that we are talking about 50% of the jobs in a country such as Spain, we need to talk about a holistic plan, a global plan. We need to do something inclusive with the support of the administrations, the central administration, the regional administration, the local administrations, the different agents, the trade unions, etc. Because all this has existed, and this has been able to go forward. And which are the components of this plans? Awareness, this capacity of making people aware of how important digitalization is. And we needed to explain companies and the different agents that this is a step we need to take so that our society moves forward. We need to have an objective tool that measures the degree of maturity of a company. And I have a company and I use this tool. I give data about my company, and I need to analyze the maturity of my company, and I can do a benchmark with competitors in the market, with companies with same number of workers, so that which technology should I be using in order to compete differently in the following years. So we need to have digital solutions that are tailor-made for the SMEs. So there is no one size fits all. We cannot replicate what we do in big companies. In the SMEs, when there is less knowledge, we need more service, and we need a more competitive price. The big companies, we are very responsible of that. We need to launch services that adapt to the real needs of SMEs. Funding, for example, there cannot be an economic problem with an SME needs to go digital, and they need all types of support and help with all flexibility so that the SMEs can reach this level of technology. So having a certification that guarantees that the fund can be applied in things that transform the way the SME works, and then a global plan as a facilitator of all the things I've already said. As an SME needs a guideline, a helping hand that is going to help them in the different steps in order to adopt the technology and in order to think of a new future. And then the execution capillarity. So if we decide to take a step forward, we need to have the follow-up and this global vision that will allow us to guarantee that this plan is implemented and that the results in the following 2, 3, 4, 5 years match the expectations that we have generated. And which are the needs that we need when we need to digitalize an SME? So it might seem obvious, but there are some technologies that are already mature, technologies that already work and that would lead us to better efficiency as connectivity, because Spain is in the avant-garde of connectivity, one of the best networks in Europe, and also the efficiencies in order to work in the cloud with niche companies or hyper-escalated companies, and also remote working, teleworking, and digital workers need to be able to work anywhere, and the office or anywhere else. Also, security links to all actions and steps that companies take. I've had meetings with representatives from the banking sector. They need they have conversations with business people who need to close their companies after a cyber attack. And we need to change the processes of the company. They are all democratized now, and so that we don't have a tool, a software tool. We change the processes thanks to the tools that allow you to be more productive and also being more competitive in the online market, in the social network, in delivery. But also there is a second technology I mentioned before. It's going to be a protagonist in the following months, and it has a double effect. So first of all, some of these companies might adopt this technology, but there is also a multiplying effect. If all these companies do it at the same time, if we could create this productive tissue of all the companies, and in which all the companies worked in the data economy with connectivity in the industry or generating efficiencies with robotics, there would be an exponential step, and the go-to-market and the competitiveness would be dramatically different. And the European funds and next generation, it's a great opportunity that we have as a country in order to move forward in this digitalization plan. We are very lucky because an important part of such funds are going to be allocated to the digital world, and 11 million euros out of the 72 million of the first line of funds, and 3,750 million of euros are going to be used to digitalize the SMEs. And first of all, digitalizing the main needs of SMEs, digital toolkit, so that all the SMEs have their main needs covered. I talked about them in the previous slide. Also giving support to the companies that want to boost these disruptive technologies, giving support to the sectors that received a very bad impact after COVID, and also training all the workers of a company, all members, all hierarchies of the company, and also that they can provoke the transformation from inside, and also to make the most of this opportunity in order to reduce the the generation and gender gap thanks to the new technology. So what do we think as company Telefónica about all this? We've always been very close to SMEs. I am here with a lot of people with a long trajectory. Jose Antonio, we've been working with SMEs, helping companies, especially in connectivity. But I dare to say that we've been very sensitive in the last years, moving forward in our offer. And we've moved forward a lot because we have designed a services offer that really adapts to SMEs and tries to understand the reality of an SME. That wants the proximity that the small integrator is giving to them, contact, service, understanding their needs, and the tailor-made services that we are offering, no problems in connectivity, and that they feel that we are giving them our support at the same level as a big corporation. So this is why we have a specialized company, AFES Technology, so that we can bring the cloud to the SMEs. And we have 2-star services linked to these, a technological expert and then a secure company in cybersecurity. And the most important thing about Telefónica is that if we add all these services, this means that we are offering a global offer that the competitors can replicate so that we can give all the services to digitalize an SME. And it's not only these, it's not only services. In the last months, we have transformed deeply our commercial channel. So we have the offer, but we need to reach the SMEs. We need to reach them in a close way and in a remote way. And we have used the 2 vectors that are going to change our commercial channels in this single channel strategy where the online channel is going to be the main protagonist. First of all, the specialization. The Telefónica team has to be specialized. It needs to understand the advantages of technology that can explain a customer, an SME, the advantages, the benefits of migrating to the cloud, cybersecurity, remote management of the job, adopting technologies as big data, blockchain. We are more specialized as a team. And then the second vector is the remote management. So we've learned from the coronavirus pandemic that we can have the same productivity and we can work at the same level at home. We have multiplied during pandemic the number of contacts with our customers, but we need to manage these, and we need rules because we need productivity, but it has to be well managed so that our customers also receive the benefits. So I am very happy because we have signed as Telefónica a Roof Turista covenant looking for the flex work and teleworking for all the staff in Spain, because this is going to retain the young talent that we need in order to implement this ambitious program. And this slide, it might seem apocalyptic, but it is a reality. Not moving forward in digitalization is going to increase the opportunity cost. And the companies that do not move forward and don't implement technology are going to be very vulnerable companies. And I can show you some researchers the companies that use the traditional online channels and using the tools, they had more resilience towards COVID. The companies that do not adopt technology are going to be very vulnerable, and their opportunity cost is going to be increased. And without a retaining of the talent. But I want to finish in a positive way. So what's going to happen if we make the most of this opportunity? The first thing I wanted to mention is that we need to visualize this productive tissue in which the great majority of companies would have adopted these technologies we've already mentioned. So first of all, a great wave of efficiency, making them more competitive. And beyond that, if they were able to take advantage of these disruptive technologies, we would be talking about a shorter go-to-market, offers that would be hyper personalized with a prediction of the demand that would be higher, and everything we launched at the market would be really personalized, finding a global balance in which the consumer would receive a lot of benefits, and then these companies would be sustainable in the future. And in the last years, Spain has broken a lot of records in the export figures, and a lot of companies, and it is a privilege to work in some of them, have gone international, worked in very sophisticated companies, being real leaders. And we need to make the most of this great opportunity that we have in order to digitalize our SMEs, and they should follow the way. And I'm fully convinced that it's going to be this way. Thank you very much.